This is so true. Most communication resembles a ping-pong game in which people are merely preparing to slam the next point across. By pausing to understand different points of view and associated feelings, you can turn apparent opponents into true members of the same team. Unfortunately, in too many businesses, educational and other settings, there is never an opportunity for feelings to be expressed and heard. So they build up to the point where people have no capacity to focus on the business at hand anymore. There is too much emotional static in the space. It's like trying to put more water into a glass that's already full. There is nowhere for it to go. You must first pour out the old water to make room for the new. It's the same with emotions. People can't listen until they've been heard. They first need to get whatever they're bothered off their chest. Whether it's someone who has just come home from work, a parent looking for a child's report card, looking at it with all C's, a salesman attempting to sell a new car, a CEO overseeing the merger of two companies, you first need to let other people speak about their needs and wants and hopes and dreams and fears and concerns and hurts and pains before you talk about yours. It opens up the space inside of them so they're able to listen and take in what you have to say. So what is a heart talk? Well, a heart talk is a structured communication process in which 8 agreements are strictly adhered to. It creates a safe environment for a deep level of communication to occur without the fear of condemnation, unsolicited advice, interruption, or being rushed in the process. It's a powerful tool to use to surface and release any unexpressed emotions that could otherwise get in the way of people being totally present to deal with the business at hand. It can be used at home, in business, in the classroom, with sports teams, and in religious settings to develop rapport, understanding, and intimacy. So when should you use a heart talk? Well, heart talks are useful before and during staff meetings. At the beginning of a business meeting where 2 new groups of people come together for the first time. After an emotionally stimulating event like a merger or a massive layoff, a death, or a major athletic loss, an unexpected financial setback, or even a tragedy such as September 11th. When there is a conflict between 2 individuals, groups, or departments, and on a regular basis at home, in the office, in the classroom, to create a deeper level of communication and intimacy. A heart talk can be conducted with any size of group between 2 and 10 people. You want to break up a larger group than 10 into smaller several group, because if the group is larger than that, the trust and safety factors tend to diminish in the whole process. It can also take too much time to actually complete the process itself. The first time you conduct a heart talk, start by explaining that there's value in occasionally using a structure of communication that guarantees a deeper level of listening. The structure of the heart talk creates a safe, non-judgmental space that supports a constructive rather than destructive expression of feelings that, if left unexpressed, can block teamwork, synergy, creativity, innovation, and intuition that are vital to productivity and success in any venture itself. So let's look at the guidelines. Start by asking people to sit in a circle around the table. Introduce the basic agreements, which include these. Only the person holding the heart is able to talk. You don't judge or criticize what anyone else has to say. You pass the heart object on your left when it's your turn, or say, I pass, if you have nothing to say in the process. You talk only about how you feel. You keep the information that's shared as confidential. You don't leave the heart talk until it's declared completed. Keep passing the heart object around the circle many times if necessary to ensure participants have more than one opportunity to share. If you have plenty of time, a heart talk completes naturally when the heart makes a complete circle without anyone having anything else to say. Ask the group to agree to the guidelines, which are very important to make sure that the talk does not deteriorate or lose its value, because no one is supposed to talk except for the person holding the object. It is often best to wait until the completion of the talk to remind people about certain agreements that need more attention. Another opinion is to have the agreements written down on paper or on a whiteboard and to merely point at them to see if someone is getting far too off track. Go around the group at least once with everybody getting one turn, or set a time frame, say 15 minutes to 30 minutes, longer for more emotionally intense issues, and keep going around the group until the time runs out or nobody has anything else more to say. You can use any object to pass around, whether it's a ball, a paperweight, a book, or anything that can be seen by other participants. We've seen everything from stuffed animals at hospitals, baseball, college baseball team, a football helmet for a state championship football team, to the Native American talking stick on a corporate river rafting trip. So you can expect the following results from a heart talk: enhanced listening skills, constructive expression of feelings, improved conflict resolution skills, improved abilities to let go of resentments and old issues, development of mutual respect and understanding for each other, greater sense of connection, unity, and bonding. Let's talk about James. Well, James owned a small family business that he had supported him and his family for years. His wife and his sons were married. His wife and his two sons, both married with children, also worked as employees within the company. You know what's happening next. At least once a week, they would all gather together for a large meal, and James would do his best to unify his growing family. James hoped that when he retired, the family business would survive and continue to provide a living for everyone else in the extended family. Though it looked like an excellent plan on the surface, there had always been rivalry and competition between the two sons, and when both their wives started working in the business, things started to come apart at the seams. Resentments over little things were pushed to supposedly keep the peace. And they were also resurfaced later in sarcastic comments and unexpected outbursts of anger. When the two sons actually threw a couple of punches at each other, James realized that all they needed to talk, they all needed to talk and clear the air. But he was afraid of the situation would become even more explosive unless there were some powerful ground rules present. So he decided to use the structure of the heart talk. Sitting in a large circle after their weekly family meal, the group was unusually quiet, not knowing what to expect. James started by getting everyone to agree to the 8 rules of the structure of the talk. At the first heart talk, the heart was passed round without much to say. The second time round, one of the sons expressed his anger, and when the heart reached the other son, even greater hostility surfaced. Yet it was clear to no one. No one was going to violate the guidelines, stomp out the room, or throw something at each other. It wasn't easy to talk in this process, and there were times you could tell everyone would have preferred to have been on another activity, even if we're doing the dishes. But as the heart kept going round the circle, everyone began to have the experience that he or she is being heard, and hostility began to dissipate. Then one of the son's wives started crying and sharing that she was at her wit's end. With all the friction in the family and in the business, she couldn't take any more. She said something had to change, and at that moment, something released, and there wasn't a dry eye in the group. The heart continued around and around. The sadness was soon replaced by acknowledgement of their love for each other and the things they were grateful for throughout the process. Though it will never be known for sure, James believed that heart talk was the most likely key thing that saved his business, his family, and his sanity.